Hi there, everyone. In the spirit of shooting the movies in the moment, or when we're actually doing the stuff, today I decided to talk a bit about our carrot planting method, because this is what we did today. It's almost time here, so part of the morning was spent working on this bed. It's a small 4 by 1 meter slightly raised bed, one of the 20 in our garden, and we have seeded carrots here. I'll just talk briefly about the whole process starting from last year. Usually the beds that we use for carrots are the ones that have other root crops previous year, which requires digging the crop out and in the process cleaning more of the perennial weeds in the bed, like couch grass or bindweed. So usually we select beds that have potatoes or sweet potatoes, beetroot, also leeks or garlic work, and also corn, because we pull the corn out. Usually we leave the roots of other plants in the soil to decompose, but corn roots can remain for several years and they interfere with our planting on the next year. So we pull the corn out, and this in turn loosens the soil and allows us to weed the beds deeper. And after we do that in autumn, we do a deep mulch, usually with straw, such as this bed. This was freshly mulched, but we do something like that in autumn, but with more straw. This is not more than, it's less than 10 centimeters, and we usually do more in autumn. And then in spring, on early summer, as this is the case, it's officially summer in a few days, we remove the mulch. We then slightly fork the bed without turning it over, using a digging fork like this one. We then rake it with a rake to create a relatively even surface, and then we scatter the seeds on top. And as we collect our own carrot seeds each year, there's no need to like ration them out. We just put much more than you usually would if you're buying the seed, which works great when you have lots of small kids running around in summer who love baby carrots and you have to thin them out. So I encourage you to collect your carrot seeds and do it the same way. After we spread the seeds, we get some of our sieved compost, which we spread at about 1 centimeter layer on top of the seeds. I've showed the compost in another video, and I'll quickly show it to you now in a bucket we have here. So this medium is very fluffy. The seeds have no problem growing through it, and it also holds moisture rather well. But the problem usually people have with carrots is that the seeds have to remain moist at all times, and they're very small, and it's hard to do that unless you're watering like 3 times a day. So a few years ago we saw on the internet a plank or a board method where you put a wooden board on top of the soil to cover the seeds, and then remove the board when they start germinating, like in 6 or 7 days. But the problem with that was that we sometimes forgot to remove the board, or the seed started to germinate earlier. So the pressure from the board kind of killed the seedlings, and on several tries we lost all the carrots we had planted. And for the last several years we are working with those burlap bags. They're coffee bags. We get them secondhand rather cheaply, for less than euro. It's actually euro cents per bag. So we use those as mulch instead of the board. They're easier to handle. They have the added bonus of being water permeable, so when it rains the water reaches the seeds and the seedlings below them. And also you can have seedlings under them for days and even up to a week without them dying. So this is the soil with the compost underneath. We usually do the seeding on a day after it was raining, so the soil is deeply moistened. And also when we mulch with the bags, they keep the moisture in for longer time. And then we use a hose to spray the bags on top, directly on the bags, which doesn't disturb the seedlings. So you can get a spray gun like that one and just spray directly on the burlap bags. They get wet, and this also helps with moisture. They also collect moisture the from the morning dew, and this works very well for us. We have very good germination. There are several things that can create a problem, mainly ground crickets and slugs in our case. And also another thing that could be problematic is if you remove the bags too early. You don't want to remove the bags when the seedlings have just appeared from the soil. You have to keep them for a few days so the seedlings can put their root a bit deeper. And afterwards you can remove the bags. Usually breakfast for the hens. Usually after you remove the bags, it's good to do that in the afternoon, and then spray the whole bed with the hose, so the seedlings have a bit of time to acclimate. And also it's best to do that on an overcast day. And I'll just come here to show you the previous carrots that we did in this fashion. Here they're sown between onion sets. We didn't get very good germination with those because they were sown very early, and at some point there were frost after they germinated. But still, we won't have to thin them out. But this amount is very little for us. We usually grow about 20 kilograms of carrots. So this other bed is a holy carrot, and it will have onion and leek planted as a border, because similar to here, but this is from sets, and the leeks and the other onion are from seed. And this is because the onions and the carrots complement each other in protecting the other one from pest. We have very little wireworm damage on carrots, if any, and I don't think we ever had onion fly problems at all. And so in a week maybe, this onion from seed will be ready to plant out, and leeks will be ready in maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll just create a border along the new carrot bed after we remove the coffee bags. And this is the next thing that we'll be planting out, but I'll tell you about it in the next video. Those are our canning or passata tomatoes. That's enough for now. A special shout out to the 3 people that will see that on my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one.